In this video, I'm going to talk about trading intuition and how it plays a part in your performance. Stay tuned. Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. Okay, so this is a different one. Trading intuition and how does it play a part in your trading? The simple answer is it plays a massive part, but it's very, very difficult to quantify. So I'm going to attempt to do it in this video. Let's talk about it. So traders intuition, what do we mean by intuition? So intuition really is when you sense something is going to happen and you don't know why you sense it. You can't put your finger on why. It's not because something's done this or something's done that, but you've got a feeling that this is going to happen. So intuition, obviously, you're walking down the street, you see somebody, your intuition is they're up to no good, they're a dodgy character, you need to avoid them, maybe you step to one side, maybe your hands are out your pockets, whatever, and then you're making the judgment based on a lot of variables, right? You're looking at the guy, you're looking at the girl, whoever it may be, you're making an assessment based on everything, how they're holding themselves, how they're walking, what they're wearing, what they're carrying, where are you, what location are you, all those things. You're making a very, very quick judgment and you're saying, actually, you know, something's not right about that character, I need to be aware of it. Or the guy looks absolutely normal and it doesn't flag. So that, I mean, that's a bit of an unusual example, but you get the point. If you live in a city centre, you kind of know that and you can spot people who you kind of want to keep a little bit of a distance from for whatever reason. So how does that factor into trading? So trading, it's the same thing. Maybe the setup is there. It's done everything, it's ticked the box, it's passed your filters, and it's about to be there, and you're about to pull the trigger, and you just think, you know what, this doesn't feel right. There's something not right about it, and it happens to be true. You know, the trade then just runs through your level, nothing happens, and you think, well, why do I get that? How do I develop that? Why is that there? Now, this is where a lot of people disagree with me. And I say, you know, you have rules for your strategy, but I always give myself a little bit of flexibility in the strategy. Okay, so it's not ironclad. In other words, I'll never say to myself, hey, I've got to have this, and then when this happens, I'll pull the trigger. Yes, that will be my strategy, but I'll also have a little slither there that gives me a little bit of flexibility to when to pull the trigger, if I am still going to pull the trigger. And that's just based on my experience and my confidence that I know I'm going to do the right thing. Now, most of the time I'm going to carry on because I know that that setup is right. But you've got to allow yourself that intuition. And intuition comes from the experience you've had in trading. So you've seen this play out hundreds of times. You've seen this scenario hundreds of times. Something is not right. Is it that the market is kind of moving and holding at a level that's unusual? Are you not getting that two-way flow? Is there more pressure than you normally see? We've got a little bit more? Is the price action a bit different? Something you can't put your finger on is giving you an alarm bell. And that may be an alarm bell that you actually act on and say, well, something's going on here, I want to get involved in it. And it's why often I would recommend, and I have done myself, focusing very specifically on one or two markets, because you get to feel it, you get to know it, you get to understand it. And for a lot of people looking and they say, well, you know, it doesn't make any sense. You've got rules for the rules, you take this trade, right? Yeah, but when you're involved with the market day to day, you're watching it tick, you're watching it open, you're watching it close, you're watching it lunchtime chop, you're watching low volume, high volume, breakouts, fake outs, all that stuff, you start to feel what is normal. You start to know what is normal, you start to watch it. And I guess perhaps if you nailed it down, you could perhaps quantify a lot of it, but a lot of it does come down to that trader's gut, that trader's intuition. Hey, we've pushed through the low here and it's acting a little bit odd. This could have another leg on it. Sure enough, it just spits out another leg. Or pushing through the low here, this is normal probing behavior, let me fade it. And whilst I would never recommend just trading from the seat of your pants and going just on intuition, you've got to allow it to come into it at some point. Now, obviously, if your experience is not that much in trading, your intuition by nature is not going to be that good because you haven't had the experience to take the intuition from. And a little mistake that a lot of new traders make is, you know, they believe they've got their intuition too early on in the market. And if you've only watched the market for, 500 or 600 hours, you don't have the intuition. When you've put in 10,000, 15,000 hours, whatever it may be, maybe not 15,000, but that 10,000 hour number, then intuition, or even less, guys, I'm just picking it out of the air. But the point is, you start to then have the intuition. It's the same, you know, if you're working in the police force, we're using the analogy of a public person working on the street, but if you're working in the police force, same thing. You just know that that car is unlikely to have insurance. You know that that car, the occupants of that car may well be up to no good. And you can't put your finger on it directly, but it might be a combination of the type of car, the driving behavior, the area you're in, all the kind of stuff that we used in the analogy earlier when you're walking down the street and something doesn't sit quite right. Same with trading. There's going to be something there that says, hey, so you have to learn to harness it. You have to not overthink that you've got the intuition, and not just say, hey, you know what, I'm going to let myself just go wild on it, because you still need that structure. But allow a little bit of this flexibility, a little bit of the time to say, hey, you know what, let me take a little bit of the decision-making process from my heart, from my gut, and see if that does me well. And generally, it's gonna do you well. It's gonna actually set you in the right way. So I guess this is a very difficult video to put out because it's hard to quantify, it's hard to say this, it's hard to say that. The summary, I suppose, is that it does play an important role in trading. You'll know when it's useful to you, and to give yourself the opportunity to let it guide you, but within the constraints of a setup and a strategy, is my take and opinion on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, guys. As always, good trading, take care. I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.